Hello everyone, this is Akira, and today we're gonna look at Lossless Scaling running on the Steam Deck. I've been messing with it for a week now. I don't remember how long the plugin's been out, but I saw a video from Deck Wizard on it. There was a little bit of initial controversy with it because there was just a miscommunication that happened between them and the developer, but they've since resolved that. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the plugin running in action. I'll show you guys how to install it as well. Okay, so right here we've got the GitHub for the Lossless Scaling plugin here. So all you really need to do, go ahead and just download the zip. Just gonna drop it in my downloads there. And that's just where I'm gonna go ahead and leave that. And so now we just need to return to game mode here. We'll go ahead and do that. All right, so now that we're back in game mode, all we really need to do is we'll just go to any game here. I'll go ahead and try it on Okami, even though that was one of the games that Tech Wizard had shown, I'm pretty sure. Now I already have the command here, but all you have to do is type in this command here, tilde / LSFG, or lossless scaling frame generation, and then %command%. That's it. And if you ever forget this command, you can do so over here on the lossless plugin, and it gives you the command right here that you can just highlight, Control C, and then just paste it right on there. So if you ever forget the command, that's okay. That will always be there for you. But let me go ahead and show you guys how to actually install the plugin here. So let me just go ahead and start with an uninstallation here. And so let's come down to lossless over here, because we need to update this anyways to a newer build. And then I'm gonna come back up here to general, I think. No, developer. Yeah, developer. So under the developer tab, install plugin from zip file. Just gonna go ahead and browse. All right, and then I'm gonna come down to my second downloads folder here, and all we're gonna do is just select the Lossless Scaling zip, hit install, and that's it. That's all there really is to it. And so now, I'm still really annoyed, by the way, that there isn't really like a keyboard shortcut to summon this menu right here. Like I always have to like manually reach for the 3 dots button on the deck to open this when I'm docked. If anybody knows about a shortcut around that, please let me know, because that shit is kind of annoying to me. But anyways, so now that you've got Lossless Scaling installed over here, I keep getting confused because my camera's like reverse or whatever. But anyways, you're just gonna come up here, install LSFG VK, and it really does install in just one click like that. And then we have some options here. It is recommended by the developer to keep flow scale at 80%. Is that how? Oh, okay. So that's how you adjust frames now. That used to be like a bar that you would select between, but I'll go ahead and set it to 2x. All right, and then base FPS cap. This mainly just applies to DirectX games. Yeah, I was about to say Unreal, but you can cap the frame rate of a DirectX game on this slider here, all the way up to 60, it looks like. But I'm gonna go ahead and just leave that off. And then there's some other options here. Pretty much all the defaults are like already like the recommended. What do we got here? Workarounds. This is new. Game scope WSI layer. Yeah, this well, stable Steam Deck mode, that might be useful for some games. I know that there are some games where if you type the command Steam Deck =1 in the launch options, it'll get some of those games to run on other Linux distributions that aren't SteamOS. It's kind of weird like that. But that command basically tells the game that you are playing on a Steam Deck. Mango, how to work around. Okay. Well, I'll check these out later. I don't think I really need to check those out right now, but let's go ahead and boot up Okami. Let me just double check that the command is there. It is. And then let me also just go ahead and grab a controller here real quick. All right, so I paired my Xbox controller here. Let's go ahead and start the game up. Okay, so this is maybe take 4 or 5, I don't know, because first my game audio wasn't working, so you guys didn't even get to hear my my cool Steam Deck music. But hey, you'll hear it in a moment. But the last session, my microphone software crashed in the middle of recording, so that's fun. But anyways, we've got Okami loaded up here, and right off the bat we are getting 60 FPS on the top left-hand corner there, as you can see. If I rotate the camera around, actually let me hold still here. So if you look at the, I don't want to call these a tree, but like these little twigs, there's pretty much just very minimal artifacting going on here. Do keep in mind that because this game is a 30 FPS game at its core, the game itself is not running at 60 FPS. It is still running at 30, like just internally. So what that means is your controller inputs, the latency of it, it's still going to be 30 frames of controller latency, like as in like it's not gonna feel like a 60 FPS native game. However, Okami does a good job of maintaining its frame rate, so like the actual game feel is pretty much the same, just visually you're seeing it at 60 FPS here, which is really awesome. But if you go ahead and open the lossless menu here, and I should definitely take the time to bump this to the top of the list here, but and it used to be that you couldn't change this setting here at, from the game itself. I mean, you could, but like the change wouldn't actually happen in real time. You used to have to back out of a game and then change the setting and then relaunch it, but that is no longer the case, thankfully, with some updates that this plugin has received. So if I bump it up to 3x, you can see it hits 90 right off the bat. Again, apologies for the confusion with the horizontal here because it's reversed, but anyways, that's beside the point. And then if I bump it up to 4x, we hit 120 FPS on Okami, which is amazing. However, now I'm playing this on a 120 hertz panel, and if I start to rotate the camera around, the motion clarity is amazing. But if we come back to the twig over here, you can see, well, actually I don't know how well you guys are really going to be able to pick that up because you're watching at 60 frames, but what I'm looking at with the naked eye is that there is quite a lot of artifacts as I rotate the camera around this twig, and it doesn't look very pleasant either. And if I start to move Amaterasu around, I can see quite a lot of artifacting going on. In fact, it kind of looks like there's after images, at least a little bit. If I play the game like normal, it looks kind of okay. Yeah, I think I could play the game like this, but I might just stick to 60 FPS just because, as mentioned, when your base is 30 FPS, the input feel is still going to feel like 30, and likewise here at 120 FPS, the inputs do still feel like 30. You know, it doesn't magically make the game feel more responsive like a native higher frame rate would. However, there is an advantage to this kind of a setup here. Well, mainly with 60 FPS games, I think, but it does benefit a lot to be able to bump up a 30 FPS game to 60 like this. And like I said, I think this is what I'm going to stick to because this looks really good right here. Quite a lot less artifacting going on. And it helps too if you come over here and set your GPU clock to 1600. I think that was mentioned in Deck Wizard's video. But there is a certain advantage to bumping up a 30 FPS game via lossless rather than trying to force a native frame rate. And what I mean by that is if you take, for example, the original PS2 GTA trilogy, right? Those games are all 30 FPS. And some of you might be aware that on the PC versions of those games, you can run them at 60 FPS or 120 and beyond. You can do that, however, it affects both the no, not necessarily the game speed, I don't think, but it mainly introduces a lot of bugs on those games if you actually play it at native 60 FPS and above. I tried playing 3 at 120 before, and I jumped one time, and like my character just died. Like it was kind of weird like that. So like that's kind of where I'm getting at here, where there is an advantage to using lossless to bump up a 30 FPS game to 60 in that you're not introducing those kinds of bugs to these games. So like Okami right here at 60 FPS through lossless is going to run pretty much exactly the same as it does natively at 30. Like I said, the inputs are not going to feel like 60 or anything, but visually it gives you quite a bit more pleasant of an experience. And I think for me that's good enough on this game and on the GTA games. But yeah, just be aware of that when you're using losses to bump up these games, and be aware of the limitations. I'm sure it'll get better over time. After all, Lossless Scaling on Windows I think is on its like third version right now, right? 3 point whatever, right? The version right now for lossless on Windows is like dramatically different from what it started out as far as I can tell anyways. I don't remember when I personally bought it, but I know I bought it before it had hit version 3. And here on the Steam Deck, as far as I can tell right now, we do not have the option yet for the adaptive sync, or not adaptive sync, the adaptive frame generation, where you can specify a target frame rate, and lossless will just make sure that it's generating enough frames to always be hitting that, even if the game starts to drop frames. We don't have that right now on the Steam Deck, but it could come with more updates. I mean, we don't have the scaling either, which is kind of funny because of the name, but that's beside the point though. Excuse me. Anyway, what's really fascinating is just the fact that we have this on Steam Deck at all, because like for a while I was saying that one of the only advantages left of playing any of these games on Windows was the fact that you could run them through lossless. And I have tested this on PCSX2 as well with Nocturne, and maybe I'll show that in a little bit, but it did work for me on PCSX2. However, it did not work for me on RetroArch, although that is also with an older version of the plugin here. So maybe it works now, I'm not sure. I could test that out in a bit here. But I don't think I have much more to say about Okami in particular, but I just wanted you guys to be aware of the hard limitations that are here with lossless scaling. And this applies to the Windows version too, by the way. Like one time I ran a Silent Hill 1 at 120 FPS on Windows through DuckStation, and the motion did look cool, just like I mentioned. However, it had quite a lot of artifacts. But just bumping it up to 60, it looked really cool. We'll go to another game now, but like I said, I just wanted you guys to be aware that lossless has its limits with like the kind of experience that it can give you. But let's go ahead and jump on over to the next game. Alright, so next up we're going to go ahead and try Spider-Man. I'm just going to make sure I have the command listed here. I do. Alright. Actually, which version of Proton am I running? Yeah, let me just change that as well real quick. Just want to be on the latest one. For GE, that is. Alright, so we've got Spider-Man loaded up here. Now for this next part, for some reason, if I try to navigate this menu here with the controller, it does inputs in the game. I've never really been able to fix that personally on this game, but let me go ahead and come up over here to lossless. So right now we're at 60 frames, all right. And I believe I have the setting to target 60 frames in the game set. So we'll go ahead and just try 2x. All right, and let's see. Okay, so we're getting close to 120. However, there's not a lot happening on the screen right now, so I don't know what's about to go down here, but yeah, so right now I have the target frame rate set to 30. All right, I'll just see how that feels right now. Okay, so that's not too bad as far as the artifacting goes. Definitely the inputs don't feel spectacular, no pun intended, but it is running pretty good. We are hitting 60 fairly consistently, but let me go ahead and just try, for the sake of input delay, let's set the target to 60. All right, so right off the bat the inputs feel a lot better. All right, okay, so it's not quite going above 75 very much, but on a 60 hertz display, this would probably look really good right now, especially on the native Steam Deck display. Now I have the LCD model, so like my screen would be 60 hertz, but if you have the OLED model, then you can go ahead and try to target 90 FPS on this game. This game has never ran particularly great for me.
All units, a scheduled transport of Sable gear is under assault by Magia. Available officers, please proceed to Bryant. Over.
But I beat this game last year on the Steam Deck. It looked really, really good just playing it on the handheld screen. This was actually like the first AAA game I played front to back on the deck, to be honest. And man, it was a great experience. But anyways, yeah, so it looks like we're not really getting to 80, but you know, we probably could if we just bump up the lossless over here. Right, let's try 3x. All right. So now we're starting to get somewhere a little bit more pleasant for the motion, at least for my display. Like I said, I'm on a 120 hertz display here, and this is looking pretty good. Just swinging around the city was always a struggle for me without lossless. I think I played like half the game targeting 60 and then the other half like with that base of 30. That's with the fact that like I was using the in-game like I don't even know if I have the in-game upscaler set up right now. Actually, let me just check. Okay, I do not, so let's go ahead and just try FSR 2.1. Or do we have Zest? No, we do not have Zest. Okay, but we'll go ahead and just give that a try. All right. Not quite sure I like how that looks when you couple that with the artifacts from Lossless. But it does help the game run just a little bit smoother. Again, I'm not sure how it's going to look for you guys because you're watching at 60 FPS. I'm going to go ahead and try turning it off here. Do I need that? Yeah, I'm just gonna use TAA. Looks slightly too ugly for me without it. But I'll go ahead and just try 4x here. And let's see how that looks. Okay, so now I'm finally getting smooth motion on my TV. But you might even be able to see just from 60 FPS the sheer amount of artifacting going on there with Spidey himself. But I am starting to hit 100 frames. Like I said, though, it's not quite ideal. But who knows, man? Lossless scaling for Linux could improve dramatically in the next some months. Because the current version of the plugin, which is what I'm using, just merged or whatever with the 1.0.0 version of the entire plugin for Linux. And so it may be just one of those things where you know, it's just early days, you know. Like I said, when this plugin had just come out, there was it did not have the ability to adjust those settings in real time. You literally had to quit the game if you wanted to try going from 2x to 3x and so on, or the other way around, doesn't matter. But the point is that this plugin has improved dramatically since it released. Again, don't remember if it was last week or 2 weeks ago now, but I've just been playing around with it, and I encourage you guys to try it out if you have Lossless Scaling on Steam, or if you don't have it, I recommend you buy it because it's only $7, and seriously, it is some of the best $7 I have really ever spent on Steam. Because this is making a dramatic difference for the performance on this game. Again, even though the latency is still pretty much 30 or 60. I think I have a 6 to 60 right now, right? Yeah, so the latency is still going to be 60 FPS latency, which is not bad on this game. But like I said, just keep that stuff in mind. Beautiful. go ahead and try another game. Okay, so we'll do one more game here. Let me just double check. Yeah, the command is there. It was kind of weird. First I tried placing the command on the far right hand side. When I was first trying this, I mean. And then it ended up working when I placed it on the left hand side. But the command is there, so let's go ahead and boot up Nocturne here. Alright, so we are on Nocturne here. Let's go ahead and just load up this save file I had made. And we're just going to go into a couple of battles here. So right off the bat, we are hitting 120. And it looks pretty good on my TV here. What was the button to recenter the camera? Let me see. I'm trying to figure that out right now. Oh, it's circle. Okay. And let me also... I'm just going to check real quick if I'm able to go past. Let's see. No. Okay. I don't think it's going to let me go past 120. Although, maybe that's also... if I... Okay, yeah. So, let's give this a profile. Let's set the GPU clock and disable the frame limit. And now let's see if it allows me to go past that. Okay, still no. But that's fine. I don't really know how that stuff works right now, but the important part is that you can use this to bump up the FPS on these PS2 games. And as far as the artifacting goes, there kind of is some, but that's mainly because the game itself has a... Well, this game in particular, it makes heavy use of motion blur for like a lot of the... like atmosphere of the game. It's kind of hard to explain it without like making that its own video really, but let me just I don't remember if this is where I'm supposed to go or anything. Let's just go to the first floor and see if I can fight it any demons around here. Okay, so I don't think so. Oops, keep on pressing the wrong button there. But let me go ahead and just actually I might need to go to like the end of the hallway or something. Okay, so after some amount of dicking around in the fucking giant hospital, we're finally in a fight, and I took a hit just before it sounds funny as fuck when I say it like that out of context, but I took a hit from one of these guys before anyways, that doesn't matter. That's just fucking... We're doing a fight in 120 FPS on the Steam Deck, and that's cool as fuck. Alright, let's... Obviously, we're gonna get some amount of starter from the emulation there, but boom. Oh, that was cool. Alright, alright. Let's go ahead and lunge at this guy. Oh, critical. Yeah, I'm just gonna fucking auto attack. Alright. So again, other than the stutters that come with PCSX2 on the deck, sometimes, I don't know, that whole thing is kind of screwy because I am rendering it at 720p right now, but I actually normally play just on the native PS2 resolution. I only bumped it up like this for you guys because it's fucking YouTube. But anyways, we got that fucking pass. So let's go ahead and just go to the next fight. Okay, and we didn't even have to go all that far because as soon as I stepped outside, the fucking random encounter things started going off on the radar there. So let's go ahead and just go to the next fight. Doesn't matter. Like I said, we're just here to show off the Lossless in action. Even though I know, again, you guys can't see the 120, but it's just the fact that you can do this on an emulation in the Steam Deck. That is really fucking cool. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. How do you, oh yeah, that's it. And that was Lossless Scaling for the Steam Deck for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys find this stuff just as fascinating as I do, because I think this is the coolest thing that's happened to the Steam Deck in quite a while, I would say. And if you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike the video if you don't like me, don't like my face, don't like my voice, whatever, don't matter. And I do have a Patreon down below as well if you guys want to support the channel. I do have a goal of hitting 100 patrons, which it'll take quite a bit to actually get there for sure, but I'm gonna actually put more time into this, and if I can hit 100 patrons, then I can actually like really hone in on this for you guys, because I have a lot more videos that I want to make for you guys. And other than that, I hope you guys have yourselves a lovely rest of your day. Consider grabbing Lossless. I'm not sponsored or anything like that, obviously. But yeah, consider grabbing it if you don't have it already. It's only $7, and I hope you guys enjoy the entire rest of your day. Love and peace.